back to the part two of the introductory classes for Davinci Resolve. We covered a couple of stuffs pertaining how the interface looks like, the pages. We talked about the entire pages for for Davinci Resolve. So I'm still going to repeat some other things because there are some parts that were not captured in that first introductory aspect, which is
Yeah.
when you load up DaVinci Resolve, what this page. You can see my screen, right? Or you can't?
Nope.
You can't see my screen yet. Just give me a second. Let me get that running. Include sound. Which of my monitors? Okay. Yeah. So what about now?
Yes, perfectly.
Awesome. Okay. So, what this looks like when you load it up, I know we have touched it, but I want it to be on record. So when you go back to watch these videos, you will know, okay, this is what everything is. So when you load up DaVinci Resolve for the very first time, this is what you're going to be greeted with. This is like the home page, right? Like the media library, all the files that projects, some of the project, not all, but some of the project that you have worked on that you have saved, right, as a project will live here. So you can create a new project. You see, it starts with untitled project. You can change the layout to list, but I like the grid. I like seeing the thumbnail of the video, so I will know which one I want to work on. All right, so you can toggle the local database, so you can search, you can add project library, right? You can export, you can import. You start up a new project and open up an existing project. Now we have the network. I don't have anything on network because I don't edit with NAS. We have the cloud. So these are different ways that you'll be able to get to get files to work, maybe from another person's machine, that is the network, from another machine that is connected to a particular network, right? So that is just all for the home. So if you're working on a project, we'll just go ahead and click on it. It's going to load. When it loads, it will use the what DaVinci Resolve is smart to remember the layout. So all the layout that you did while working on this project, you are going to see the layout. Now, so let me just go back and touch some things that we have talked previously to just refresh. So we said DaVinci Resolve starts from the media page. The media page is the page that holds all our files. Then from there we go to the cut page. Cut page is where you cut your clips because, like I said, the primary role of an editor is actually to cut, arrange sequence, to tell a story with the videos, the images, with typography and all whatnot. But everything you can do, everything you'll be able to do in the edit page, the media page, and the cut page, you can do them in the edit page, thereby eliminating the time you would spend, all right, trying to understand what the media page is and what the cut page is. You can skip that, especially if you want, like you remember we said the way we are taking this course is so that you can start editing with DaVinci Resolve. All right.
Yeah.
So we covered a lot of things. We talked about the media pool, the effects, index, sound library, keyframes. We talked about this side of thing, the masters, how to arrange your bin, which is also folders. We talked about the timeline, the keyframe, the record to record your audios, the voiceover. We talked about this side of town, the audio and the video for your tracks. We talked about video, audio, effect, transition, image. I'm still yet to really understand the work of this image. I didn't research on it honestly because I have not used it all the time I've been using DaVinci Resolve. I've not used this image, right? Then file. We talked about file. So what we are going to be looking at is, because DaVinci Resolve has many features. It has many things that you're able to do in the edit page, right? So when you right click on your timeline, on a video on a project, you'll be greeted with other like you'll be greeted with a menu of other things you'll be able to do, right? Now there are
Yeah.
shortcuts you can actually use to achieve some of these things, right? Now,
Yeah.
one other thing is we'll go into it, but much more later, where we begin to assign shortcuts, okay, to we assign key bindings to what we want to do. Now, the shortcuts, it is you determine, oh, I want to use Control E to do this, I want to use Control Alternate F to do this, you understand? So
Yeah.
it is by your own personal workflow you'll be able to assign your shortcuts. To do that, you go to Davinci, you just click on Davinci Resolve, come to customization, keyboard customization, right? When you click on it, this is what it will look like. It will show you like the layout of a keyboard. Then all you just need to do is maybe search a particular feature, then add a keystroke for that particular feature.
Yeah.
Right, so you're going to see all the commands. Now you can set a keystroke, all right, to anything that you want to do in Davinci Resolve. You understand? Anything you can see. Let's do um, switching clips and all of that, right? You'll be able to. I think the only thing you may not be able to do, I'm not sure if you can assign shortcuts to effects. I'm not sure. I'm not certain on that. I'm not certain about that, but majority of the things you will do in DaVinci Resolve, you should be able to assign shortcuts to them.
So there.
Yes. So that's how you'll be able to do that. Now the next is when you right click, you're going to see new compound clip, new fusion clip, new VFX connect clip. Anytime you see new fusion clip, we're skipping that. Like I said, for this course, we're not going into fusion, we're not going into much of VFX, right? Because that is like when you're trying to specialize. I don't think we will need you will need the fusion page for now. All right, you can do a lot. You can create magic with just the edit page and the color page, which we are going to take some examples. I'm going to give you some examples to try to recreate. Right, we'll try to create stories where try to make the same thing that will strengthen your skill in editing in general. Okay, so we're going to skip new fusion clip. We're going to skip VFX connect clip. So render in place, copy, remove attributes. This function is very, very important, and I'm going to show you what that function is. Right, so we have cut, we have ripple cut, we have delete selected, ripple delete, enable disable clip, change clip duration, change clip speed, retime controls. You don't need this. Apple immersive motion data, we don't need this one. This one is for people who are creating content for VR, right? All those immersive display and all of that. So we don't need this. Open infusion page, we don't need this. Reset fusion composition, we don't need this, right? But I'm just going to tell you what they do and what they are and what they do. Create reference composition, normalize audio levels, voice convert, clip color, generate optimized media, render cage fusion output, render cage color output, conform lock enabled. Just leave this on. There are some of these things that you should just leave on. Conform lock with media pool clip. Don't select this. All right, because if you select it, it's going to lock the. Let's just say we select it now. It's going to lock the media clip that we have selected, right? So there is no need to use that. All right. Some of the features that are here, you just have to leave them default. So find in media is very, very important, especially if you have so many videos, right? So when you click on a particular video, a particular media you have in your timeline, and you are trying to look for it here, right? When you right click and you just do the Alt F, it will point where the video is in your media. Now, why do I say it's very important? There are times when you're working with footage and you're working with like 100 different footage, right? You want to know, okay, where is that particular footage in my bin, in my media pool? So doing the Alt and the F will just pinpoint where the file is for you.
But if I do find the media, what am I going to find? Is it like maybe the name of the media
No,
or
it's going to highlight it. It's going to highlight it for you. So once you do Alt F, you look at this point, this part of your screen, you see that it's now highlighted
it's
with,
not highlighted there?
yes. So
Oh,
let's
okay.
let's bring another media. Let's bring this one in. Let me delete these tags. So if I click on this one and I do Alt F, it's going to highlight it. So it's very, very, it's a neat feature, especially when you're trying to look for where things are in your folder. Okay, so that's what Find Media is. Clip attributes. Now, clip attributes tells you the information about that particular clip that you have selected. Okay, gives you the information. Here you can rename the clip and all of that.
Okay. So in this clip attributes, I will now see like the frame per second that I shot it at
Yes,
and all of those.
yes,
Okay. Okay.
yeah. Some useful
Can I
information.
can I can I increase the frame per second from here?
If you increase it, it's going to mess up your video because what you shot natively is 30 frames per second. And normally, let me explain this, right? When you are editing, all right, in fact, cinema level, when you're consuming a cinema level movie, they are actually shot at, it actually displays at 24 frames per second.
Wonderful.
Yeah, 20 frames per second. So all the 60 frames, 120 frames, we don't consume at that frame rate. You understand? We don't consume media at that frame rate. TikTok is 30 frames per second. YouTube, I think, 30 frames per second. Social media, 30 frames per second. I think some of them are even 24 frames. You understand? So if you export your video at 60 frames per second, it is going to, the social media, where it's going to compress it down to 30 frames. So why, you may want to ask, why do we shoot at 60 frames, 120 frames, 240 frames? Remember when we are doing the camera part of things, we're talking about the camera handling. It is the reason why you shoot at that high frame rate. One is maybe you want to slow that footage down. That's the core reason why you are going to shoot at a high frame rate. You have more frames, all right, in your image, so that when you slow them down, it will be very smooth. So things like Enter the Matrix, all those kind of movies where you see all those slowing down effects, they had to shoot at a very high frame rate. There are some cameras that can shoot at, there are some cinema level cameras that can shoot at 540 frames per second. Yes.
But then to achieve.
Those ones you see where maybe they are capturing insects. They, especially for insects, flying insects. When we slow it down, you now see their wings flying. It's those kind of cameras.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, mother's gonna be mad.
yeah, it's those kind of cameras.
Damn.
Okay, so let's proceed. Let's move. The next thing is, we talked about clip attributes, duplicate frames. So duplicate frames is no duplicate. If we have like duplicates, I think. Yeah. So let's check. Yeah, have you seen it now? It has shown us that, oh, there is a duplicate frame. So what is the use case for this? Let's say you have so many footage, you've brought so many footage into your timeline to edit. You don't know if you've brought one before. Okay, that duplicate frames feature, you'll be able to know if you have a duplicate. But there's another way to know if you already have a duplicate frame. When you go to your media pool, you're going to see that the videos that we have added on our timeline has a red marker to it. You see, as I removed it from the timeline, you can't see a red marker here anymore, but you can see it here. This indicates that this video is already somewhere in our timeline. You understand? It indicates that it's already somewhere in our timeline. So that's one of the ways to know, and it will also tell you that, oh, let me show you now. Let's cut this video down. You see that the extent at which the red is showing is telling you that, oh, we have the video, but it is cut down to so and so frames, to so and so place. Are you seeing it? Right. So you can now decide to add the video again and add other places that are missing. Right. So if you bring it back, you see that the entire clip will be red. And if you cut it, it's still going to show you. Let's say we cut down some areas, we remove this, we cut another area, we remove this. You are going to see cuts, right? You're going to notice cuts to show you the places that are. Now, if you do Alt and click on it, right? If you do Alt and click on it and you drag, it is going to bring only the footage. It won't bring the sound. Now, I'll show you some, some little stuff that will help your entire editing workflow, right? So let's proceed. That's what the duplicate frame does. For the text selector, right, you're going to, let's say you repeat some words or you repeat some motions, right? Text selector is like, okay, you are just going to like choose the places that makes sense so that you can delete the rest. You understand? So it's only going to it's just going to highlight your footage. You can now start like selecting the places that that you want. So that's what the text selector does. Then you press escape to exit the text selector mode. The next thing is display individual audio channels. So if you record in stereo, stereo means there are two channels, the left and the right channels, while mono is one channel. Now, the way it is displayed here, it displays only one channel. Okay, it displays only one channel, and I think it's fine because it won't take space, especially when you start increasing and doing some things here, right? But if you enable the display individual channels, you see how it is. It's now very, very tight. You may not be able to see the wave spectrum clearly, so just leave it at a mono display. Okay, so the next thing we have here is show music beats. This feature is very, very important. Let me drag a music. Now, there's a style of editing. Remember the PDF that we covered, that those editing styles, and we'll still go back to it. You understand? As the course continues, we'll go back to it so that some of the things that we talked about theoretically, we will now do. Okay, one side, it will be one side. We will now do the practical. So there's an editing style that has to do with what's his name again? I've forgotten the exact name, but the technique is cutting your videos to the beat. It's a very handy way. In fact, I think if you're editing, that's how you should edit. You should edit with your sound. Let me show you what I mean. So when you go to show music bits, it's going to analyze your footage, right? And now create markers. Can you see the markers?
Okay.
So it will create markers for you. Now, when you are cutting your video, right, you are now going to, and it is going to snap. You're now going to snap it at those points, right, that it's showing you. I do this a lot. All my edits that I'm doing, I edit to the beat of the track. You understand? That's how I cut. So if we play this now, are you seeing what I'm doing?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm using my cut, Control B, just clean cut. I'll cut, then I will trim to these lines. Okay, you see the beat markers here. The moment you drag it, it's going to snap at the point. Now, if
Please
you
come again. How did you do that beat marker?
so the beat marker, you just right click, you go to show beat music beats, and you just click on it. It will analyze the audio. Now, if your audio is if the how will I explain this now? If there are no strong beats for in your audio, it may not be able to give you an interesting mark. So you may now use your sixth sense, for lack of better words. You may now use your music sense or your editing sense to say, okay, as I'm listening to the beat, to the groove, all right, of the song, there are places that the drum, the kick is hitting. Maybe I want to cut my video to the kick. Let's do something, right? Let's do an example, like a real-time example. Let's do real time. Just give me a second. Let me load a project.
Yes, you said you're going to send me like an audio library.
Yeah. It's in. You can get the audio library from my link in bio. From TikTok. You just go to TikTok, click my link in bio. You're going to see a direct link to my Google Drive where I have my premium sound effects and all of those things. So just a click to it, which will give you access to those things. Just give me a second. Let this load up. And I'm still updating. I'm still updating that particular library. There are some sound effects.
So how do we manage the copyright that comes alongside with sounds like that?
Awesome. So what I do is I have a premium subscription for Envato Elements. Now there are other platforms that have free copyright, like no copyrighted sounds. So you can use sites like Pixabay. Pixabay is very good, right? Pixabay.
Pixabay, does Pixabay do sound too?
Yes, so Pixabay does sound.
I was thinking Pixabay is just
Images.
Yeah, I was thinking it's just
They do
images.
sound, they do video. They do sound, they do video. So let's look at one part of this video that we did cutting on the beat.
Pixabay audio.
Yeah, Pixabay audio. So you can get amazing background sounds. I get majority of my background sounds from Pixabay, or I use Epidemic Sound. But Epidemic Sound, you need a subscription. If I'm not using Epidemic Sound, I'm using Envato. All right, now let me play.
There's nothing special about the number 87. It's just a proof that when stacked together, numbers can point towards consistency. So I picked up my Sony ZV-E10,
Oh wow!
a kit lens and a 16mm lens.
Go back again.
Don't worry. That media is there's the part I want to show you, Seth, is totally different. The media is offline. Like I deleted it by mistake. So this is what I'm going to show you with now. There's a part of this video that did not make it into the parent video. So just look at, you see I have my show music beats here. Let me, yeah, you see I have my show music beats here. So the way I cut this part, I cut it by the beat. Okay, so let's sorry, let me.
Okay, so what it means, how you use the drag this? Come, maybe the same video. This will be the same thing. Why am I seeing? Okay, I think you are zooming in.
I'm zooming in. You have to zoom in.
I can't wonder. See, how come all of a sudden I'm seeing pink? I do not see pink again.
No. That part, right, is the other timeline. You can edit in multiple timelines. If you look at my left, right, you see a particular timeline called extraordinary. You see another timeline called timeline 3. You see another timeline called timeline 2. Right, so I create multiple timelines. The reason why I create multiple timelines when I'm editing is there's a part I don't edit from point A to Z. That's not how I edit. The way I edit, I would get an idea for the same video. I will get an idea. I will shoot it. That point now can be point F. I will edit the point F in a separate timeline, right? Then I will now get the idea for the this video, this particular video. The place I wanted to use for intro is when what are they calling it? Newton's
pendulum.
Yeah, that's pendulum. That's where I wanted to use as the main intro. But while I've done the edits, I've done that part, and I saw that it's not strong enough. It's not strong enough to start as an intro, and I had to move it across the timeline. So that's how I edit. You understand? If you come to timeline 3, now if you switch to timeline 3, you will see another part. You understand? You see this other part where I edited it. You understand? So that's how I edit. Okay, so once I'm switching it will be different. Okay, I think I'm missing something. Just give me a second. I want to align it so that you're going to see how the thing snaps. Okay, how everything snaps. All right, so let's play. You're seeing how it is changing it is changing with the sound.
Every beat,
yes.
Yeah.
So the beat that I targeted is that, you understand? So we are switching by that beat. You get?
Okay.
You switch.
So instead of doing like 1, 2, like that 3.4 seconds frame, changing of frame, you can also do by the beats.
Yes, you can do. There are some you can do that are extremely fast, like shorter. You know, all those effects.
Like that shorter,
yes. So you're going to cut it very, very, very fast. You're going to cut it very, very fast. So those are the ways you edit with the sound, and some other time you can go against it.
The way that shorter will work is, I'm going to get the shorter sound first and
yes.
put the shorter sound.
Yes.
And then I'm going to now zoom in and now cut according to
exactly. Just do show beat. Yes.
All the show beat on that shorter sound.
Yes, exactly.
I don't understand these things.
See, this thing, it rides on a very simple foundation. So what people do is they take this very simple foundation, then they now begin to explore ways they can build on it. You understand? Explore ways where you can build on. And the moment you get the basic fundamentals and the principles of editing, right, filmmaking and all of that, you now begin to understand. Oh, when you see a video, when you see what somebody does, you'll be able to deconstruct it. You'll be able to open it up to know, oh, okay, this is what he did, because you understand the basic principles. You get?
Yeah.
So that's one way. Now, another thing is you can decide to go against the beat. You see, creativity should not be boxed, right? You know the rules. You can now decide to go against the rules. You can now decide to say, oh, my own style of video will be off beat. I'm going to cut off the beat. You understand? There's this trend.
Yeah.
There's this trend I've been seeing on TikTok where it's just a normal talking head. The person will be talking. He will now change the pitch of his voice. He'll now be like, you know what they are.
Yeah. That's in the rain now.
It's just to break, the normal flow, and that's creativity.
Break the sound, increase the pitch or reduce the pitch.
Just be doing it like that. So creativity doesn't have this is the way you must do it to be a creative. No, we teach you the foundations. You understand the principles, the rudiment. You can now decide to say, no, I'm going to go counterculture with this. I will use something else. Like, for instance, now, if you're trying to create a video for gym videos, it's energetic, right? So you're going to employ faster cuts, right? Faster cuts, sweaty, loud music, like upbeat track. But you cannot decide to say, no, I want to go against it. I want to use Beethoven. You understand? I want to use classical music. But the way I'm going to execute now, it now depends on how you are able to execute it to land it well, so that when people feel like it's making sense, so before you know, it becomes a trend. You understand? Okay, so let's continue. So that's the show music beat. Then link clips. We already talked about linking of clips. Like I said, every clip is linked. The audio side and the video side are linked together, right? But when you unlink it, you can now delete the audio or delete the video, or edit the audio or edit the video. You can use it in cases where you want to achieve L cut and J cut. I know we did that practically in real time. Okay, so let's look at other features. What is a new compound clip? Let's say, for instance, now you do a lot of things. Now we have all this footage that we have chopped out, right? And we don't want to keep, we want to use, because see the way I edit, right? And it's the same way I color code my stuff. If I shoot a particular video, like I'm seated at my workstation, I did different shots, different POVs, but I was still in my workstation, I'm going to color code those clips with the same color. So let me show you a typical example. If you pay attention now, you're going to see that some clips are in yellow, right? Some other clips are in blue. Now the reason why they are in yellow is because this clip now is different clips but similar structure. So why I'm color coding it like that is so that when I'm doing the color grade for that scene, right, I'll just take the same color grade that I have done and just slap it on an adjustment layer above the entire clip. You understand?
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why I color code my clips. So I color code my clips, I color code my my color grade to know that, okay, this is the color grade I used for this. And you can name them too. You can, but me, I don't name them. I just use color coding. Okay, so let's go back. Let's still stay here. We can stay and look at some certain things. So that's how you link clip. I've lost my train of thought. What was I actually saying? What was I saying prior?
I'm talking about audio.
Yeah. Okay, so that's how you link clips for maybe you want to do an L cut or a J cut. So I was talking about new compound clip. Yes. So what exactly is new compound clip? Now let's say I color code all this footage. I color code it. Now the way to change color, you just go to clip color and I color coded this. Now I want to still maintain like a clean timeline, right? A clean timeline. And one of the reasons why you want to maintain a clean timeline, this is one thing most persons do not know about Davinci Resolve Premiere Pro. The more stacked you have, the more tracks you have stacked up, the more your render time.
Okay.
Yes. So if you have too many tracks, it is going to slow down your render time. So sometimes it is good to use the compound clipping method. Now, let me show you what it does. The moment I select all of this, I right click and I go to new compound clip. I will now name it, let's call it guitar shot. It's now going to unite it to just one file, holding all the edit I have done on it. Do you understand?
Okay.
Yeah. So I can now say, okay, let me now color code this one to the orange. Now, this is why I like Davinci Resolve. I can now say, hey, I need to make some changes. Kai, I made a mistake. I can just right click, go to open in timeline. So it's going to open a separate timeline for guitar shots. Are you seeing it here? We have it here.
Interesting.
So I will now adjust the things I want to adjust. Once I adjust it like this, right? Let me do a notable adjustment. Once I adjust it and go back to my timeline, that adjustment has happened in real time. You understand? But now the thing is, it's now going to give a more blank space because the edit I did in the guitar shot, I have reduced the time. So what I'll now do is I'll come to that timeline and drag it to the point that faded into black and backspace. So everything will flow smoothly.
What you want to add another? What you want to?
When you
Say, oh,
when you add, right, you can now have the ability to stretch it.
okay.
Let me show you what I mean. So let's duplicate this. Duplicate some more. Duplicate some more. And you want to ask, how am I duplicating so fast? Just select, hold Alt, and drag it to duplicate. Yes. Okay. Let me enable my mouse and keyboard so that the things I'm doing would be reflecting on screen.
Okay.
Yeah. So if I press a button, it's going to reflect on screen. So now I have duplicated some of these clips. Let's go back to the timeline. We now have are you seeing it? So Davinci Resolve is really, really intelligent. So this style of edit now is called non-destructive editing, right? I was trying to explain what destructive, right, and non-destructive was in one of our classes. Now, the way to a good editor edits non-destructively, so he uses compound clip and adjustment layers so that he's able to change that thing he did without affecting his overall edit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is one of the ways. Now you can now decide to say, okay, I've done all of this. I want everything I did to come back into my timeline. You can right click and go to decompose in place using clips only. Immediately you select it. Everything you did will now appear back here with all the new changes you have done. Amazing, right?
Yes.
So that is what the compound clip is for. It creates a group. It's like grouping. You just group everything, right? Group them in place and lock them. Yes. Yes. So this is our compound clip. So what is the next on our list? New fusion clip. Now, normally, this clip now is a media file from our media pool. If I do new fusion clip, if I make it a new fusion clip, I can now directly open this clip in fusion in the fusion page.
Yeah.
Where I can now do my VFX and all of that.
Yeah.
You understand? So that's why you use the fusion clip. There's more to it, but because of we're not going deep into the fusion, that's why I'm not talking much about it. So it's the same thing with new VFX Connect clip, where you connect, the things that you are doing inside Fusion. Right? That one is more technical. I'm not a 3D artist, right? So that one don't really concern me like that. Now, render in place. Render in place is very, very important. Okay, why is it very, very important? For people who are using systems that are not very advanced, that do not have beefy memory, do not have beefy GPU that can be able to handle some tasks, it is advisable for them to render that particular footage. Why do you need to render it? Now, when you render, now there are different ways to render, which I'm going to show you, right? The best way, only that it is still going to consume space. Now, if you notice, there are some files here that says file media is missing. Let's look for one that shows you that that the media is offline. Now, the reason why it's showing that the media is offline, I rendered that particular video. All right, I rendered it in place. So when you are rendering in place, it will recreate that particular file to create a new file, but a file that now has those effects that you have done. You understand? It will not create a new file, but it's a file that contains all the edit, all the effect, the zooming, the transition, everything that you have done.
So it makes it lesser, gives you lesser time in when you're rendering out at the final stage.
Correct. And it also gives you a smoother playback on your timeline. So all those
Yeah.
lagging. So when you do when you do a high effect, like let's say you do which effect now? Let's say you render noise, you do noise reduction on your video, and when you're trying to play back, it's choppy. The playback is choppy. Just render it in place. So you render it in place. Your timeline when you're playing the video, it will just be playing smooth.
Can you unrender it back?
No, you can't. That's where the wahala is. That one now is destructive form of editing. So you have to make sure that you see this thing.
So
I don't finish am. So what I do not render in place color grade.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is why my color grades are always on my adjustment layer.
Okay.
So what I render in place, basic majority of the time, what I render in place is when I do slow motion, because slow motion effect, it will chop your this will start lagging. So when I am okay with the slow motion, because I already know the settings that works for my slow motion, so I don't need to even say I want to play it back to see if it will work well. No, I already know. Especially if I shoot at the right frame rate. Once I shoot at 60 frames per second, right, and I bring it into my timeline, I do the retime controls, make it more slower, I add my optical flow. I will go to what they call it, retime and scaling. I'll add optical flow. I will go to motion estimation, and I will change it to AI speed warp beta. Once you change it to AI speed warp beta, it's going to eat your memory. So don't play it back the moment you add it. Then for the scaling, leave it at project settings. Then the resize filter, you leave it at smoother. For smoother. The moment I do this, I just go and render the video, render it in place, so that when I play back, it's going to be buttery smooth. I just know that it's going to be smooth. It's going to be smooth. So that's what the render in place is now. I'm now going to show you a live example of when we use render in place. So let's go to guitar shots. Let's say we want to take out we want to cut out this our subject from the background. Okay, I know it's like I'm skipping, but I'm doing this so that you see the need for rendering in place. Okay, so let's say I want to cut out this guy that is playing guitar now from the background. Where I'm going to do it, I like using the color page. I will click on the video, go to color page. Then I'm going to zoom in. I'll zoom in. I'll go to this place here called AI Magic Marks. Click on it. I'll go to beta, because beta gets me a good result, just as the name implies. Then I'm going to click. When I click, you wait, because it is actually processor heavy. Now what I did, you're not going to see anything. I will now come here. I will select toggle max overlay. I'll click on it. You're not going to see red. It shows you that this is what has been selected. I'm going to select here, select here, select here. Make sure you have like a proper selection, right? The moment I select, I'm going to track this backward and forward. Click on track. You give it time, so it has tracked it. Now you may want to ask, why are we tracking it? The reason why we're tracking it is, if we don't track it, it is only going to apply the cutout to only one frame. Now you know that for motion to happen, there are a lot of frames that captures different motion, right? So we will have to track all the frames, so that backward and forward, so that it is going to translate on the entire frame.
In the entire frame.
Yeah. So we are not done.
It means the entire.
Yeah. So what we are going to do now is we're going to right click. We'll add alpha output. What is alpha output? Now in editing, design, and all of that, when we're talking about an alpha channel is a channel that retains transparency. You know PNG files, right? The way PNG files is able to retain transparency. The reason why it can retain transparency is because of it stored that particular file in the alpha channel.
Okay.
Yes. So this now, what we now did is we now enabled alpha output. When we drag this blue line to this blue node, when we drag it, it has now given us transparency. So when we now go back to our timeline, there's no more background. As you can see now, our footage doesn't have a background anymore. That's how you cut out subjects, by the way, from the background using Davinci Resolve. So now, for some PC, since I have done this, it may slow down my PC. You understand? But I want to make sure that I am okay with this selection. I'm okay with the effect that I have done. Right? What I'm now going to do is I'm going to right click. I'll come to render in place. Now I'm going to see these options. Right? You see these options? Very, very important. You can change the name. Let's say let's call it Guitar Boy. So Guitar Boy. Now, if I'm just rendering a video that I did not cut out the background, right? I just did some effects, maybe retime, scaling. What I'm going to use is not QuickTime. I'm going to use MP4. I'm going to explain why. Now, MP4 is good. MP4 H264, right, is good, right? But MP4 doesn't have the ability to retain alpha channel. It's just like JPEG and PNG.
Okay.
So if I do some effects like cutting out my subject, doing some layer maxing and all of that, I want to retain the alpha channel. The only file extension that enables me to do that is QuickTime. So for this case, I'm going to use QuickTime. So let me show you. If you do MP4, what you're going to do, you're going to change the codec to H.264. Right? Encoding profile, you can leave it at auto. You can use high if you like. You can click render at source resolution so that the resolution is what you are using. Then you render it. Okay, let's go ahead and click on render. Now, it's going to ask us, see now, it's now creating a separate file. That means it is going to take space in your drive. That's what I was trying to say. So what me and I did was, I was like, I can see that Davinci Resolve, my render files is taking 102 gig of space. I need that space. So all the render in place I did, I had to delete them because I've already rendered the entire video and exported. You understand? So I deleted them. I can recreate them since I have the source file. I can just drag them.
This space you are talking about, it means that if my PC does not have enough space, this thing will be eating up my PC space.
100%.
So in essence, it is better for me to edit inside of the drive.
Yes. Now, even if you're editing inside of the drive, right? This is one thing we advise editors. Make sure you are editing with an SSD storage.
Yeah, I have. So basically, why this makes sense to me is because I have like a podcast I shot.
Okay.
And when we shot the podcast, the guy just transferred everything to one of my drive. I have like an SSD.
Awesome. Yes.
4
So
terabytes.
you will edit from the drive.
So yeah, then you want to edit from the drive, sis. I'll be asking him, which kind of problem is you want to edit from my drive? Now give me my drive, copy to your PC and give my drive.
No, he knows why he wants to edit from your drive. If Baba copy to a PC, he no go get space.
You know, Grill. I can't say you have been editing movies before. Why is it my own that you have to use your drive, my drive to edit? He said that if I want to use the drive, I should come and collect the drive. When I'm done, I should bring it back to him to edit inside of the drive.
But it's just like one project that I wanted to do for Cowbell. The reason why I didn't take that project is if you see the volume of the videos, my God, I think everything was above 8 terabytes worth of data. and the money that they were calling to, well, let me not put the money they were calling was too small. They were trying to boycott. I don't have energy for that kind of thing. That kind of big project, that they are mathematics quiz competition stuff. So
Yeah.
why are you telling me you're going to pay me 400 for what now? It's too small now. Come on, you guys should do better for 8 terabyte worth of
They pay
file.
400, and then after the 400, will you be the person to choose whoever wins the money?
Good question.
I'm learning video editing for myself.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not sure
yeah,
I'll work
yeah,
with any clients.
yeah,
I'm not sure I'll work because there's nothing you want to come and tell me. If you tell me I should come and edit your podcast, it's like me now. I'm paying for podcast,
yeah,
and I'm paying the guy 100. I think 100K for every episode,
yeah.
aside every other things that we want to do. I'm not gonna lie. Me, I'm not going to edit podcast for 100K
I won't.
myself.
I won't. I can't.
I'm not going to do that.
I
So irrespective of the fact that I know that he's doing that and he's doing it because of love, anyways, and
Yeah,
then he uses my camera whenever he wants,
yeah,
stuff like that. He has many benefits, and then he's doing it out from a place of, now my guy.
yeah.
But me, I'm not sure I'm going to collect clients 100K, even
Never,
200K. I'm not going to collect
never,
clients.
never. You are going
Yeah, I'm
because
not
see,
sure.
you are going to sit down. You will watch the entire podcast first.
Yeah, true.
You watch the entire podcast first. You now start cutting the fillers, the ums, the arms, the retakes, the mistakes. You cut all those things, finish. Then you will now start, the camera switching and all of that. You now add, some effects. Add this. Add no. It's time consuming. All right, so let's
You watch one podcast like 70
seven.
times.
Yeah, so that's why what I do for videos like that. There's a way to edit videos like that. If you're editing a podcast, there's a feature in Davinci Resolve where you do transcribe editing. So what you do is, instead of you to watch the entire video, you might watch the entire video once so that you have like you have like an overall context, an overall overview of what the video actually is, right? So when you watch it once, there's a feature. You just go to the transcribe feature. I'm not going to show that, right? I'm not going to show that now. Is when we progress into the course, where you now go to transcribe feature. You click on it. It's going to bring the entire video to transcribe it to text. You understand? Then you will now start editing the text. Say, he make mistake here. He repeated this thing twice. The moment you edit it, it is editing the video.
Oh, interesting.
Very, very interesting. Yeah, very, 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 very handy too. So all those long form stuff, for some of my content that I do that I maybe spoke for long, that's how I edit. Okay, so let's come back to class. Now, you will now notice that sometimes, right? Sometimes the effect you did, one of the reasons why I render in place. If you move this thing, if I cause changes to happen now on this footage, see what is going to happen. You see the background has come back in some places.
Yeah.
So that means I will have to now go back to the color page and track again. So those frames that it did not capture, it has not captured it. When I go back, I will now play everything. You understand? Now, another downside to this is, if I exit this video, once I leave my project now, and I come back, and I do some, changes, do some other edits, I will have to go back and track it again. If I forget to track this, my keyboard battery is down. Let me plug it. If I forget to track it and I export, just know that I've made a big blunder, and that thing has happened to me multiple times. Where at export, as you're rendering, you see that the effect I did here, the cutout image I did here did not translate. I did not go back and retrack it. So the best thing I do is, when I'm okay with this, I go to render in place. I go to QuickTime. I go to uncompressed. Click on uncompressed. Leave it. You see ARGB. That is alpha RGB 8-bit. Select and I render it. I select the folder. I'm done. Now, I can do anything to this video. I can cut it, I can bring it back, I can add so and so effect, I can zoom it, the cut out background will still be there, and it will play smoothly, it will play very fast, so smooth. You understand? So that's how we use, that's when we use the render in place feature. So the next thing is copy. Copy is just as the name implies, Control C. Now see the beautiful thing about Davinci, because this copy now still hinges on the next tool, that is copy attributes. So
Yeah.
let's say I have a particular video that I shot. Okay, let me use timeline 3 as example. Now I have no. Just Davinci Resolve has frozen. That's why I don't like using this video as, what are they calling it, as example. This video file alone is very big, it's very large, it's about 70 gig.
If this can happen to you, that means I'm in danger.
No, I just explained why. The video, the file itself.
That's what I'm saying. Now, if I want to edit, that means I will be in danger.
You're not editing this kind.
If
You're
I
not
have
doing this
to
kind of
big,
edit
big,
now. See,
I'm doing big.
in this file,
Me,
I have.
wait until I learn first.
In this file, I have over 800 sound effects. Over
Jesus.
800 here uploaded. Then for the video, all the videos are shot in 4K, and there are more than 70 something. See the footage. See the amount of footages. There are more than 70 something footage. I still have other footage here. So you understand? So that is why it is lagging. Especially when I'm switching.
But I thought you said something about proxy, that if we do proxy files,
No, see,
it's not lag.
it is not lagging my editing workflow. It is lagging Davinci.
Jesus.
Because of it's just like now you're trying to open a file on Photoshop and the file size is 120 gig. Before your system is going to process it, it is going to lag. So it's not really, and when it finishes processing, you can play, you can do anything you want to do. But to access the file itself, it is going to lag Davinci. And in most cases, if it's too large, it will crash.
Jesus.
This is where.
So what can be a solution if we are doing high tech editing? What can be a solution to something like that?
The solution is to edit in parts. See, this is the way most professionals edit.
Okay.
So they finish one particular thing, they finish that part, they render it out. They finish another part, they render it out. They now bring it and they join it.
Okay, so you render in part as just like this render in place.
Yeah, exactly.
You are rendering in place completely.
Yeah,
and then you render
but the way they render,
right?
They render at a very high resolution.
Okay.
You understand?
So when you bring it in here, it's not going to get
so all these
choppy,
yes, all the issue that you're facing, you ain't gonna face it. And proxy media will help you. Let me tell you something that will shock you. For this entire 70 something, I did not use proxy media, and all of them are in 4K. Because I trust my PC.
I don't trust my own. My own hang that last time.
Yeah, you can't edit in 4K. It's going to hang terribly.
I don't the plan when you said this my PC.
Now see the funny thing. Normally there are other things you can do. You can change your timeline playback resolution. You can bring it down to quarter or half. That is going to help you. But me, stubborn head, I edit in full because I believe, oh, my system can handle it. Let's go. So that's why I am facing these issues. Don't be like me, please.
I'm going to build my own system.
Please build. If you build, you're going to enjoy it. Build, you're going to enjoy it.
Because I don't know how to build it.
Now, see, there are other ways, right? You may not have the technical knowledge to build your own PC, right? You can say, okay, these are the specs I need. That's what I did, right? These are the specs I need. These are the components that I need, right? How much for everything? The guy said, okay, he has this component, he has this component, 2 point something. You can say, 2 point something is too much now. So what you do, he will buy all the parts that you want. the things that you want to be in your, the kind of case that you want, he will now, because he's an engineer, he will now build for you, then send it to you. So you don't need.
I want to build that type of your type.
Then I will just give you my guy's contact. I will give you the guy's contact, and you're good to go.
I'll build your type. It's your type I want to build.
I would.
I just say the chop.
You can build something that is even more than mine. Because me,
I want something that no matter, because this thing that I'm learning right now, I know that I've not understood it, but I'm going to play with it very well.
yes, you have to play with it.
I'm going to play with it very well. And what will discourage me from playing is if I begin to do something
And your system starts hanging. Exactly. That's why. See,
so I'd rather pay and solve that problem.
Yes.
That's the way I am.
Yeah.
If I can pay and solve a problem for the future,
yeah,
even if it's not a present problem, for the future, I'll pay first and solve the problem first.
Yeah.
So that that's the reason why when I went to buy my camera, I didn't say, oh, let me buy a small camera and then begin to learn.
Yeah.
No. I bought a camera that I know that
for the next 5 years, you see that your camera for the next 5 years.
When I face a problem in the future, they went to do one boxing match in Egbeda. The guy came to borrow my camera. I didn't even know that they were doing boxing match. But I know that in the next, maybe whatever problem I'm going to face in the future, this camera should be able to handle it. And that's what I want to do with that piece.
Yeah. Honestly, that is it, right? So what I would say is, when you're ready, I'll just tell you the specs that you can build for the next 5 years. For the next 4 or 5 years, your PC is good to go.
Give me. I want to sell my own this thing.
All right, no problem. We'll do that. We'll talk about it probably tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so let's proceed. We are making progress here. What I'll urge you to do is, every section we have, just open your own system, go over it, try, do the same thing, you understand, so that it will stick. Do it again and again and again. I know we've not entered the editing side proper, but as I'm saying, okay, this is what this thing does, make sure you go and click it to see what it really does. You understand? So that is the best way to learn, so that you commit it to muscle memory. You know that, oh, once you see this thing, I know what it does, right? So now for attributes, we're talking about attributes now. Copy and attribute. So let's say I go to my transform. You know, we've already talked about transform, and I say, let me rotate this clip to like this. I want this clip to be like this, right? Let me just put 90 degrees. I want it to be like this, okay? And I want it to zoom in like this, right? But I don't want only this clip to be like this. I want all the clips to be like that. So what do? When I do Ctrl+C to copy, right, the normal way to paste is, if you do Ctrl+V, it will not paste the video. But we don't want to paste this video. What we want to paste is the attributes. What are attributes? Attributes are edits, effects, little changes I have done, all right, on a media. I can now click on this one. This one is like this. So the way I'm now going to paste, I'm going to paste with Alt+V. So it will now open paste attributes. I will now say, okay, these are the changes that I can transfer. I want to transfer the zoom, the scale, the rotation. I apply. What has happened? All the attributes from the other clip has come to this clip. So I can just be doing it like that. Alt, apply, select like all of these, Alt, apply, and voila. Understand? So that's smart boy's way of doing things. So that's what copying and attribute does. So let's move on to the next one, paste attributes. So we've already talked about paste insert. Paste insert now is when I copy something, when I copy this one, right, when I copy this and I go here, right, I click on, remember our playhead is very, very important, and I click on this playhead. When I do, what is the shortcut here? The shortcut is Control Shift and V. So once I do Control Shift and V, see where it's now copied and pasted in between where my playhead was. So my playhead is where, if I want to paste it here now, I do that thing, it's going to put it here. Do you understand?
Come again.
So paste insert now, it's just like normal copy and paste, right? But I don't want to paste it just anywhere, right? I don't want to paste it here. I want to paste it somewhere around here now. So the way I will now paste is, I will now use Shift, Control, and V to paste. It's now going to paste it here,
According to where
my playhead
where
is.
your playhead is.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. That's for paste insert. We've talked about paste attribute. Now remove attribute is just as the name implies. Say, oh, I don't want that effect that I did to be here. I just click and I click on remove attributes. Then you will now see the ones that you want to uncheck. And I say, no, I don't want this attribute. I don't want that attribute. I apply, and boom, we are good to go. So any edit, see, if you've done a particular edit that you're going to use for other things for the video, to fast track your editing process, use paste attribute. So if you do, what do they call it now? There's this style of edit they call speed ramping. They use it for cars, they use it for real estate, where it's like this thing is moving fast and all of that. So that's called speed ramping. We are going to look at it when we now move into editing proper. So we just need to know. We are going to look at the tool that does that speed ramping. One of the tools, we've already looked at it. One of the tools is called our keyframes, right? So you just copy and paste the attributes and you're good to go. So you don't need to recreate from scratch again and again, right? So the next thing is to cut. So cut is to remove it. Instead of copy, you cut it. And you cannot say, let me cut it and let me now paste it here. I don't want the video to be there. Shift, Control, V. You understand? So it's now here. It's another fast way of moving your videos across your timeline. So the next thing is ripple cut. When we do ripple cut now, what does it mean to ripple? Ripple means that when you put a stone in water, there's a ripple effect because of you have dropped a stone. There are now waves that move. Now let's say your timeline is water. If you're doing anything, because it's not just ripple cut, you see they will say, oh, adjust this, you see ripple. It means that if I do that change, I want that change that I did to affect my entire timeline. There are some good use cases. So if I say a ripple cut, that means once I do ripple cut, you see what happened? Instead of there to be space here, see the normal cut, there was space, right?
Yeah.
There was space in the normal cut. But if I do the ripple cut, it has cut it off, but there's no space. So that's what ripple means. Ripple means anything if you're doing. Let's say I want to delete. Let me show you something now, because it's another thing we are going to look at, ripple delete. So if I click on this and I press space bar, you see there's a space, empty space here. So that's like a normal delete. So if I want to do a ripple delete, I'll use my delete button. I've removed it, but it now filled the space.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what a ripple cut does. And delete, you see, delete selected, the space bar, ripple delete, shift space bar, or you just press your delete button. That's for ripple delete. Then to enable and disable clip, when you do Control D, it doesn't affect here on the timeline. It's usually on the color page. Now let me show you, because let me just do nonsense color grade here. Let's go to this. Let's reduce the brightness, right, and let's bump the color. So let's say this thing I just did now, I don't want to see it. Once I click here and I do Control D, it has disabled that effect. I do Control D again, it has brought it back. So it's a way to check before and after to know what you are doing. So Control and D. Let's go ahead and reset the node. Reset node. What am I clicking? Yeah, reset node. So let's go back to the edit page. So that's what the enable clip is for. Now change clip duration, the Control D. Right. So for here, for what are they calling it? For the timeline, it is just D to disable and enable. So when do you use it? When do you use this case? You use it when probably you have another video on another track and you want to see this video, because this one now, since it's above it, let me tell you how this timeline works. Anything that is above another clip is masking, is blocking the video, is blocking the effect, is blocking anything.
Okay.
You understand? Order of priority or hierarchy, whatever you want to say. Yeah. So if I want to see what is happening at the bottom here, I can deselect it and I will see this footage. And I say, oh, okay, so this, you can use this for maybe you want to know where to start a particular footage. Once you bring it back, now know that okay, it will now play and enter the other part. You understand? So you don't walk blindly. You don't just be guessing what where to place the footage underneath the footage above it. Is that clear?
Yeah.
All right. So, but for the other page, it is Control D. Now, Control D on this page, what it does, it brings you to this change clip duration. What is change clip duration? Change clip duration is where we now begin to say, this clip is 22 seconds long. Let's make it 20. Let's make it 18 seconds. So what will it do? It will cut it. So this type of way now is like a more technical way of cutting a clip. If you know the timeline, if you know that okay, at so timeline, there's one error that is at the 0.25 seconds. I want to cut it. So you can just go click on it, do your Control D, put it that, oh, I want it to be 5 seconds, like 0.005. You click it and it will cut it. Is that clear?
Yes.
All right. So the next thing is we talked about clip duration. Change clip speed. Now, change clip speed is, do not mistake change clip speed for change clip duration. Most persons get it confused. So duration is streaming, while change clip speed will either make the video slow or fast. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Now, the reason why most persons confuse it because they will not see duration here. If I change the clip speed, it's going to affect the duration. You understand? So once I change, what happened to the video? Let me use a more pronounced video where you're going to see what is going on. So if we do the change clip speed, once I increase it, see what happens to the video. It will now make it fast. Are you saying?
Yeah.
It will now make it fast, and when you make it fast, it will reduce the time it's going to be on my timeline. So it's not going to cut it like this. It will reduce the entire length. This entire distance, like this entire footage, will be sped up. Now, when it's sped up, it will no longer take 10 seconds in my frame. It will take 5 seconds, as the case may be.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, the next, let me just show you the controls. So we have ripple timeline. You see that word again, ripple. When you are doing this kind of effect, I want you to toggle it on. It should be on, so that once we change it, it is going to affect our timeline. You see what happened? Because it's now shorter, it has brought those things forward, backward a bit, because it's now faster. So use that ripple timeline when you're creating this kind of effect. Let's go back to change clip speed. So here you can now do the reverse. So let's reverse the clip. Just select reverse, click on it. Everything will now play in reverse. You understand? So that's how you do reverse. So freeze frame. You know, we talked about a feature somewhere where you are able to freeze a frame in speed change, where we said, oh, you can use it when maybe you want to analyze somebody's footage, right? Do you remember?
Yeah.
So it is.
I know we talked about something like that.
So it is in the change speed that we can also do freeze frame. Can I say, oh, let me freeze this frame? Once you click it, it will change this entire frame to a still image, right? It will just freeze it in place. It uses the playhead. Where you have your playhead, that's where the effect is going to from left to right. So from this side where the playhead is down to this other part, that's where the effect is going to translate. So the next thing we have is retime control. So now this retime control is also another way to change the speed, right, of our clip to either slow it down or make it fast. So the beautiful thing about this one is where you can now use to create what are they calling now, speed ramping. So this is where we do speed ramping, Control R. Now when you move close to the footage, you now see that you have a new icon that we've not seen before. This icon now tells you that you are speeding or slowing. Now what we are doing is we are slowing down our footage. Let's play it now. You see, it's now slow motion, right? You now see yellow. Then if we are speeding it up, we scroll to the right to change to blue. We have sped it up by 200%. You understand? Now let's just bring it back to 100. So 101. It's not bad. So if we want to do what they call speed ramping, you will now click on this drop down panel. You will now see some functions. You see change speed. This one affects the entire the entire video, right? So let's say, now don't confuse this effect from this one. It's two different things. You understand? Pay attention. It's still in 50%, but we are trimming. We are not changing the speed. We are trimming the video. How you know that you are changing the speed is you are going to see the percentage is going to be changing. I hope that's clear.
To a good extent.
Okay, let me repeat myself. Now, let me delete this clip and use a base clip. So this clip now, you know, it's cut. We cut it off. We trimmed it.
Yes.
So this is the normal trimming. This is the icon. When we are trimming, this is the icon for trimming, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you do the retime effect and you now bring your mouse here, this, when you see this icon, you are no longer trimming. The clip retains the entire frames that we have. When you drag it, you notice that you see some numbers, the percentage is increasing. So now
yes,
the video now takes more frames in our timeline, but that doesn't mean we are trimming the video. I don't know if you understand. Yes, so that doesn't mean we are trimming it. Now when we come back and we bring it down, it doesn't mean we have trimmed this video. We just made it faster. It is still going to play the entire footage that we have. You understand?
Okay.
Yes. So the reason I'm saying is because sometimes you might be editing, right, and you didn't pay attention to which icon is showing, and you do this. You now think that, oh, I am adjusting the time, the speed. I'm changing the speed, but you're not. So you have to look out for this percentage, if it's changing or not. Now, So one of the ways to do what are they calling it, speed ramping. Let me use another clean footage. Let me increase it some more. So Control R. Now I've not done anything, I've not adjusted anything. So let's say I want this video from here to here, I want it to start very slow. What am I going to do? I'm going to click on this drop down. I'll do add speed point. It has created an anchor point. Remember, we talked about keyframe. So this now is a keyframe. Okay? So and I move and I say when this side will play slow, this side will play fast, then this other side will now play slow. I will now say, okay, when we get to this point, I now want here to play slow. I'm going to add another speed point. I've not done the effect yet. I just added the key point. So when I now come here and drag it, only this part is increasing because this point now has held it back. So here is now slow, right? Here is now slow. Let me move this. So the same thing here. Once I drag, oh, what did I do now? If that icon doesn't show, just use here and drag it back. So no, forward, sorry. Once you drag it forward, this side now becomes slow too. You understand? So when we play the footage, let's play it and see. Slow, fast, slow. I don't know if you're able to take note of it. Started slow, it became fast, now started slow again. So
going down again.
yeah, so something like this now, I will now click on it and now enable my keyframe here. I'm now going to see the frames here. Are you seeing it? So
yes.
What I want to do is I want to now use, oh, what did I do? Oh dear. Okay, see where we're editing now. I want to be able to like tweak it. There's what I made mention of easing in and easing out. Remember?
Yeah.
So what I'm now going to do is I will select everything here. Let me bump this up so you can see everything I'm doing. I'll select everything here. I'll just drag my mouse to select. Need to make sure everything is selected. These people, they need to work on. They need to work on this part. I think there's a bug. So I'm clicking and I'm trying to select, but it's not selecting. Okay, now it has selected, right? So now, what I'm now going to do is I'm now going to come to parameters. Are you seeing it here at my left side? I will now click on keyframe curves. I click on it, it will now change this thing to graph like this. Right? To change it to graph. I'm now going to, what am I clicking now? I will select it. I will come here and do ease in and ease out. Then I can play with this. I'm not going deep. We're not going advanced yet, right? When we go into editing proper, I'm just showing you the whole, stuff. When we're going to editing proper, I'm now going to show you how you want to achieve maybe a what are they calling it? A speed ramp effect. Now, speed ramping, what makes your speed ramping successful is how you shoot your video. If you're going to do a speed ramping effect, you're going to shoot. Oh wow! Just give me a second. Let me turn on my backup power, please. So we are back. So I'm going to go into details later on when we go into editing proper, like doing some samples. How you shoot your video, you have to prepare for your, what are they calling it, to speed ramp. There's how you shoot for speed ramp, and we may not be able to cover how you shoot because you're not filming anybody, right? You're not filming people, it's just you. So if you want to do speed ramping, someone has to film you. Right, someone else has to like really film you move. There's how they will move the camera. There's the camera. That's for speed ramping. Okay, so that's the retime. That's the whole retime stuff. So let's get this out and let's see the next thing. We're making progress. Okay, the next thing is Apple Immersive Motion. We said that one doesn't concern us. Open in Fusion page. Doesn't really concern us, but if you click it, it's now going to take this video into the Fusion page. Yes. Reset Fusion composition is when you create a composition, right? And you just want to reset it, you want to remove everything, you just click on reset Fusion composition and everything you've done is going to go off. Then create reference composition. It's like, create like a reference that you can use for other stuffs. Then we've talked about clip color, where you can change the color of your clip to target. Generate optimized media. Now, generating optimized media is like a kind of proxy, but it's not proxy. So it gives you another kind of media that will play faster on your timeline. But before you do that, you have to set the kind of optimized media you want. So in our next class, we are now going to check how to create proxies, right? The settings I use for my proxies to generate proxies that works well for me, where I get, because there's how you create proxy. The video file you are using is not going to be high quality, right? And when you're doing color grading and all of that, you want to be able to get, like, at least to an extent what your video is going to look like, right? So we'll look at how to generate proxies, how to generate proxy media, optimize media, and all of that, right? So that will be for the next class when we meet again. Render cage fusion output. Now, this rendering is because of you will do some effect probably in the fusion page or in the color page. It is going to, if it doesn't render, if that effect does not register, it will slow down your PC. So if I do an effect in the color page and I don't want to use render in place, what I'll come and do is I'll come to render cage color output. I'll click on it. So any effect I have done on this video, it's now going to render that cage. It's going to register it. You understand? It's just like you have when you're visiting websites. Why the website will reload faster? It's because there are cookies, there are cache from that website. So it doesn't need to reload again. But the downside of this is when you leave and the cache gets deleted, because cache, most of them are temporary, right? Gets deleted. Yeah. You will have to render cache again. I hope that's clear.
Yep.
Okay, so I think we have covered, yes, we have actually covered everything on the right click. Now, this thing will differ if we go to, let's look for audio, an audio file. All right, let's go to the audio side of things. I don't think any of this video has audio. I don't think any of them has audio. No audio here, so let's go to timeline 2 that has audio. If we click on an audio and right click, majority of the things we are going to see is dedicated to audio. So you're going to see things like normalize audio level. So normalize audio level now is to quickly do some level of audio adjustment for YouTube, for Netflix, Disney. I like using YouTube's own because it will just balance your audio, especially when you have like so many different sound effects like we do have here, right? And you want to balance the sound effects so that one doesn't overshadow your dialogue. You understand? So you're just going to select everything and normalize. So when you click on normalize, you can now do, I'm going to normalize for YouTube. Or I'm going to say, okay, target level. I'm going to say so and so and so target level. Right? That's when you're doing it manually. But I will go ahead and say, let's do for Netflix has a lot of dialogue. Right? So just so that, it's going to be dialogue kind of. Right? Now, we still have it on the right side where we see AI dialogue leveler. Okay? But this one is more of, targeted when you can say, okay, let's optimize it for moderate levels, more lift to the low levels, lift soft whisper, you understand? Let's do background noise reduction and all of that. That's where you get this AI dialogue leveler. It cleans up your audio for you a little bit. Right, so any questions?
None for now.
None f-
None for now. I just think I want to watch
video
the
again, yes.
this video again,
Yeah,
yeah, and then try to implement everything one
one after
after
the
the
other.
other.
Okay,
Because in other ones, sometimes when you're talking, I'll just be implementing
directly.
directly on the left, and that's why I have questions
Okay,
like to push out.
okay.
But I'm not doing that on this one,
All
so
right, so
I think I'll
no
just
problem.
want to implement that.
When you do and you have questions, you definitely ask them. Then we'll go over them, the questions that you have, probably in the next class. So for the next class, we're going
Sure.
to talk about proxy media. Then we'll now go. We've not touched some of all these things. Like I said, so there are some of all these things you will not need. All these things like this, you may not need them. There are some things you will not need. But when we start talking about proxy, we'll have to come to playback this part to look at what all these things do, because you see proxy handling, you see some render cache, some all of those things do. We are going to look at that part. We're also going to look at view, then we'll look at workspace. Then after this, we will now do some test edits, because you have known how to cut. We'll do some test edit. I'll show you. Okay, let's get this kind of clip and let's cut. I'll just give you like a small assessment for you to do, to now say, okay, if you have known, I'm just going to say, okay, you're going to do a retime here, you're going to slow down this part, you're going to remove the audio on this part, you understand? Just give you like something to work with, a brief to work with. So when that is done, we'll now move to Fairlight, which is the audio part, right? I'll show you how to. The way we are doing Fairlight, I'm not teaching you the entire Fairlight page, right? I'm teaching you how you'll be able to, the things I do in my Fairlight page to enrich my video, touch up my video, make the audio, I say video, make the audio very good. You understand? The tips and things to do I do for noise remover, to remove all those the is and all those things. I'm going to show you all what I do. That's what I'm doing for the Fairlight page. So the two pages that I will teach that extensively is the edit page and the color page. That's where I will teach extensively. Is that okay? All right.
Yes,
So
that's all right.
we've come to the end of tonight's section. We are in a good spot, because after this one, once we touch proxies and we are done with proxies, we've entered editing. Don't start to edit. You understand? So
So I need to make sure that I watch this video very, very well, over
exactly,
and over again.
exactly.
Make sure when I get to edit, I don't mess
Yeah,
up.
but there's something that we do most of the times. This is how I became better. When I forget something, I quickly go and watch a video. Say, hey, how did they do that in that year? Oh, hey, I'll just watch the video, refresh. So you can do that. It's after you've done it a while. It takes a while to master something. You understand? You have to repeat the
Sure.
process again and again. I don't expect you to master it under 1 week. You understand? When you edit, you cut, you edit, you cut, you do this, you do that one again and again and again. You will now master it. When you come to the software, you just know what to do, to do to get the particular result. So thank you for your time. I will be uploading this. I'll be uploading this shortly and sending you the link. All right. So
Thank you,
thank
sir.
you. We've
Thank
come
you,
to the
sir.
end
Really
of the introductory introduction to Davinci Resolve Part 2. The Part 3 is going to be like a finale for the edit page, right? It will be like a finale for the edit page before we now move into Fairlight, and from Fairlight we'll now move to color page. We are going to spend another time in color page, because color page has a lot. So we'll look at color page, then we'll now harmonize everything that we have learned, right? We'll now start taking some specialized edit, where you say, okay, I want to do this kind of effect. That part now is more of, say you want to do some VFX. I don't know if you understand. You want to be able to like
Yep.
split multiple people, do shining, do fire, and all those kind of little VFX. Not advanced VFX, so just little VFX that you can use to spice up your content and all of that. That one now is a specialized way of editing, right? For somebody who already has knowledge of editing and the person wants to improve, that is the way to improve. You can say, okay, I already know how to edit, but I've not advanced in Davinci Resolve, so let me go and watch a video how to do predator effect. There's one, if I've done it before, where you are camouflage, you're like transparent somehow. You understand?
Yeah, I saw that thing. Really, really
Very,
nice.
very simple to do. Very, very simple. Very, very simple to do. So stuffs like that are now specialized effects that you can now do. Right. So that one now you don't say most persons think that when you are learning Davinci Resolve, that is what Davinci Resolve is. No. You can learn everything, then you now start specializing. I want to be able to do this kind of thing. Maybe put text in the wall. Right? Put my text in the wall. You now go and
Yeah.
check a video, because since you already know how to navigate Davinci Resolve, because most times there are 3-4 different tools that you use to achieve that one result, but you need to know the tools. You get, it may not occur to you that you can use all these tools, except your creative you know comes in to tell you, yeah, I can definitely use this to do this kind of thing, right? But in case you don't know what you're going to the particular tools that you will use, when you go and watch a video on YouTube, you now say, is this tool and this tool and this tool, like, nice, I know how to use those tools before. You now see the way to blend them to be able to get that particular result. All right, see you in the next class.
All right,
Good
sir.
night.
Yes,